Alright, and welcome to the Unit 9 test review number 5. Now 17 says, given f of x is equal to the cubic root of x minus 1 plus 3, graph g of x, which is equal to negative 3 f of x plus 4. Okay, well the first thing I want to do is just quickly, let's just go ahead and graph our original function. So I see that for, let's see here, f of x is equal to the cubic root of x plus 1 and then plus 3. Since I know that x has to be the opposite of positive 1, that's negative 1, and my y value is 3, this thing will have essentially a vertex at negative 1, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and since it's a cubic root function, it will look something like this. It's actually a sideways cubic function. Okay, and if you want, you could have gone to Desmos and you could have just graphed this and seen what it looked like. Okay, now let's go ahead and let's tackle what g of x is. Well, for g of x, in fact, let's even use a different color. For g of x, let's say this. We have this negative 3 times f of x. And let's see here. What is f of x? It's the cubic root of x minus 1 plus 3. Now at this point, notice that there's really an implied 1 right there. So when I distribute this negative 3, what in the world do I really get? Well, I really get this. G of x is equal to negative 3. And the thing that really has not changed is this cubic root of x minus 1. Notice I'm going to leave a little space on the inside just in case. And then negative 3 times 9 will actually give me that negative 3 times 3 will give me negative 9. Okay? Now the last thing I want to say is, look, on the inside of this function we are adding 4, so I'll put a plus 4. And at this point, I now have this function. I now have this completely brand new function. G of x is equal to negative 3 cubic roots of, let's see here, x plus 3, because negative 1 plus 4, minus 9. And if you'll notice, my x value here has to be negative 3, and then our y value is negative 9, so we can do this. We can go to the left 1, 2, 3, and down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're way down here. And at this point, notice that we have this negative 3, which means that this has actually been reflected. And it'll look something like that. Okay? And it's also been vertically stretched. So roughly we'll just keep the same shape. Just know that it would be a little bit taller, you could think of vertically. Okay. Let's go ahead to our problem number 18. Okay, problem 18 says, simply what value of x makes the equation below true? And let's just fly through this one. Alright, x minus 7 cubed minus 64. We of course start with easy things. The opposite of minus 64 is plus 64 plus 64, which of course that will give us 72 is equal to 4 parentheses x minus 7 cubed. Okay, not too bad. We can divide both sides by 4. And since 76 divided by, I think 72 divided by 4, that should just give us 18. And you can double and triple check me on that, and if I am incorrect, you can let me know. Now at this point, this is the big idea of the problem. How in the world do you get rid of a cube? Okay, so let's just label that. That is a cube. Well, the opposite of a cube is, of course, a cubic root. So let's label that. It's a cubic root. And what I'll do to the right, of course, I have to do to the left. Now, the cubic root of 18 is an actual number, and these two things cancel, and we get x minus 7. So I leave it to you to solve this from here on your own. Simply put that into your calculator, and then solve for x. Alright, we've got 2 more problems. Let's go on to problem 19. Okay. Problem 19 says, find inverse of x for the function f of x equals 2x squared plus 16x minus 13. Now, the trick to this is you actually just want to start by completing the square, okay? And the reason that you complete the square is this puts this into vertex form. And I am quite certain if y'all can get to vertex form, you can do the rest of this problem. So how in the world do you complete the square on this? Well, we always put our x squared term and our x term in parentheses. And if there's a leading coefficient, which in this case is 2, we want to factor that 2 out in front. So I'll factor out the 2, and I have x squared plus, well, 16 divided by 2 is 8x, and remember, you want to leave a space, minus 13. Now at this point, the trick to completing the square is using our b over 2 squared trick. And let's see, our b term here, of course, is 8. So I can do 8 over 2 squared. And 8 divided by 2 is 4 squared, which is 16. Now here's the number one mistake that you, as a student, will make. You didn't add a 16. What you really added was a 16 times 2. So what is 16 times 2? Well, that's really 32. And whatever we really added, I like to write it on top, just like very itty-bitty. But what we added was a positive 32. So we have to balance out that positive 32 with a negative 32. And so it's this one little step that you're going to make a mistake. So let's try this one more time. We didn't really add a 16. We added a 16 times 2, which is 32. And since we added a 32, we have to subtract a 32 in order to keep this balanced. Okay. Now at this point, let's go ahead and continue on. In order to do this, we're now going to write this term right here, x squared plus 8x plus 16, as a perfect square. What does a perfect square look like? Well, it's got its parentheses, it's got an x, it's got a square on the outside, and we're basically looking for one number that adds with itself to be 8 and multiplies with itself to be 16. Can you think of a number that adds with itself and multiplies with itself to be 8 and 16? And the answer, of course, is 4. Now, the way you can make this easy is you can always take your middle term and simply divide by 2. So half of 8 is 4. We know that 4 plus 4 is 8, and we know that 4 times 4 is 16. And let me scribble that out so you don't think it's some sort of exponent. Okay, on the right-hand side, or on the outside, we have negative 13 and negative 32, which appears to be negative 45. And so it's from here that you'll need to take this and find f inverse of x. And I will leave you to finish the problem. At the very end of this problem, now I'll leave y'all to do it. Alright, let's move on to problem 20. Okay, in this case, we notice we have two logarithms with the same base, however they are being subtracted. So what in the world do you do with subtraction? Well, this is telling you to divide the inside quantity. So what will this look like? It'll look like the log base 8 of x squared plus 9x plus 14 divided by x plus 7 is, of course, equal to 3. Now, I'll do this one step for y'all. I will help you simplify. I'll help you simplify what's on the inside. And so we can write this. Log base 8 of parentheses x plus 7 and x plus 2 over x plus 7. And, of course, that will be equal to 3. Now from here, notice that we have an x plus 7 on the top and bottom. Those cancel. And it's up to you to solve log base 8 of x plus 2 is equal to 3. And I know you can. Alright, y'all. Good luck on this test. I hope that you've watched through this test review on the problems that you just didn't quite understand. And, yeah. After the test, you'll go into spring break. And, yeah, we'll all enjoy our week off. Thank you all.